Amid the chaos of the horrific shooting in Dallas, police wrongly identified an individual who was not actually a suspect.
Um, Anna, you're incorrect. You see, he was a suspect. Now, he didn't do it, but the police did not know he did it at the time. They merely, what's the correct word? Oh yeah, they suspected that he did it. Are you picking up what I am putting down?
The man is Mark Hughes, and almost 2 hours later, police sent a tweet identifying Hughes as the first suspect in the shooting and asking for help tracking him down. A picture of him at the protest smiling in a camouflage t-shirt with a rifle slung over. So here's a picture of him. And he and his brother did speak to a CBS affiliate in Dallas and explained the chaos that ensued after his identity was released by police on that Twitter page. Now,
Alright, so the story so far. We thought that a guy with a gun at near the scene where a bunch of shots were being fired might have shot his gun. Turns out he didn't. Alright. Is this the end of the story? Or are there 10 more minutes left in this wonderful piece? Let's find out.
Now, keep in mind, I mean, people were justified in being angry, in being scared, and wanting to go after the suspect. But since cops had wrongly identified him, he was the target of death threats, and he was afraid for his own life. So he actually...
All right, so we have vigilante justice. Yes, that is a problem. It tends to happen in chaos. I'm not... All right, so nothing out of the ordinary.
He turned himself into the police immediately, and one of the reasons why he was deemed a suspect is because he was openly carrying a rifle. But understand that in Texas, open carry is legal, and he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was one of the peaceful protesters.
Excellent. Non-story, wasn't breaking the law, just a misunderstanding. So there is no more to this story. It's the end of the story, right?
Now, before we get to the comments, I want to just quickly show you the video of him and his brother speaking to the media about what happened.
I don't know what to say. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The crazy thing about it is that I was down here. I couldn't get to my vehicle because of the roadblock. And hindsight 2020, I could have easily been shot.
Where were you when your picture was being plastered all over the country? You didn't even know?
I didn't know. We received a phone call that my face was on there as a suspect, and immediately I flagged down a police officer.
So while the country was looking for you, you were talking to police?
I was talking to police, laughing and joking with police officers.
And not only that, we were assisting the police. You know, we were part of the organization that put on this peaceful protest. And so when they started shooting, we went to the cops and asked, what could we do? How could we help them? And so the whole time we were helping cops. You know, and I understood, you know, just recently, less than 48 hours ago, a young man that had a permit to carry a gun was killed by a cop. And so when they started firing, when shots started firing, I went to the cop. I approached them, and I told my brother, I said, give your gun to this cop because we don't want an accident. We don't want them to come around the corner and see you with a gun and start shooting at you. And so when the first shots went off, we turned over our gun and let them have it, and then help direct traffic. We helped people get behind buildings. We were assisting. At the end of the day, we came for a peaceful protest.
Now, if you notice what they were saying, the first one said they were laughing and joking with the cops, and the other one said that while they were with the cops, they were trying to help out because of the state of panic. Now, those two things would seem contradictory. So I'm guessing there is something fishy going on with that story. Maybe it was just told improperly. But there's just something off about the whole thing. Now, I don't think that they committed a crime. I think it was just odd.
So I got to be honest, I have mixed feelings about this.
You're not being honest.
So I like that Mark Hughes is wearing a Steelers shirt almost identical to the one I have. So that's the relevant point. And I like that he says the reason he brought his licensed weapon is he's like, I'm an American, like anybody's an American. I got my Second Amendment rights. I live in Texas, right? So I get to do whatever else anybody else does, right? But I don't want people to get too up in arms about how cops handle this. That's why I say I have mixed feelings. Because I watched that full video that they showed briefly on the left, his interaction with the cops. Now, it was not like Castile in Falcon Heights, where the guy said, Castile said, I have a licensed weapon on me, and the cop shot him. In this case, he was openly carrying the weapon. First of all, the guy...
I admit that I don't know a whole lot about that specific case, but I'm sure that the necessary punishment will be given to the police officer if it did turn out that he was stepping outside of the bounds of the law.
The guy who did the shooting was described as a black guy, had camouflage on, and a rifle. And Mark was black, had camouflage on, and had a rifle. If I'm the cops, I'm going to talk to him, right? So then the question is, how am I going to talk to him? And they actually were really respectful. They didn't pull their weapons when they saw him with his rifle. They came because they had gone up to the cops. They were super respectful. And they said, this is a licensed weapon, and we're going to turn it over. And it worked just fine.
It's almost as if the cops aren't generally racist. It's strange when you comply with the police and you don't get abrasive with them, then nothing happens. Now, what if they were shouting at the police? Do you think it would have been different? I don't know.
And then the cop, as you saw a little bit in that video, gave him his card and said, call me, and there's a process, and then you get it back, right? And then they had to take them in, and then they held them till later in the night. But I actually think the cop reaction could have been a lot worse and was actually really professional.
Right. So, look.
Well, of course it could have been worse. And of course it was professional because it was. I'm just going to take your word on it that it happened exactly as it did. It sounds like it went down exactly as it should have. There's no issue with that. What do you mean? It could have been worse. It's hard to say it couldn't be better.
I disagree with you to some extent because everything worked out fine because Mark Hughes was extremely lucky that everything worked out fine.
Why do I have a really bad feeling about where this is going?
This tweet was retweeted 39,000 times, right? And so we're in Texas where people are armed to the teeth. I mean, this is one of the states that allows open carry. So the fact that A, the cops didn't shoot him, and B, other individuals didn't shoot him is miraculous, okay? So
I just looked up tried to find some stats on vigilante justice inside the United States, and I couldn't find any statistics within 5 minutes. So I just went to Wikipedia, and it did not give many examples in the last few years. I know that there's an article saying that there is an upshoot in vigilante justice, but it did not give any numbers or sources. So I'm just going to say that she has no way to back up what she's saying and move on.
So I don't know. I honestly do not know what the best solution would have been. I don't know if plastering someone's identity all over the internet as a suspect like that is the best way to go, especially when tensions are high and you know that there are people who are armed and might, carry out vigilante justice against this guy.
They want to find the person as quickly as possible. They should use their resources, such as the internet. Now, it wasn't necessary, he wasn't the guy, but they didn't know that. But you need some way to find. You gotta hit that regressive agenda point, don't you?
So they hear guy with camouflage and a rifle, and then they see a picture of him in social media, and they go, okay, this might be the suspect. They put out a tweet, the cops do, with his face on it, saying this is a suspect. If you see him, turn him in or let us know. Now, the part of that I object to is the word suspect. And
Why would you object to that? There's no reason you would object to using the word suspect, since it accurately describes what he is, a suspect.
the reason is, if you're the Dallas Police Department there, you got to find this guy, whoever's doing the shooting, and he matches the description. You got to find him now.
Yes, exactly. What is the issue?
10 cops are down, 5 of them turn out to have died, right? So I'm asking for something simple. We always try to be constructive on the show, right? A person of interest. Now, I know that that sounds like a fine line, but when cops say person of interest, they mean might or might not be the suspect. Don't go crazy, right? Suspect.
What kind of semantic game are you playing, Jank? I fail to understand. Am I an idiot? I don't know if I'm an idiot. I could be completely wrong. Maybe you are Einstein incarnate. Alright, Niels Bohr is looking up to be in your image. Actually, no, I think Heisenberg would be a better example.
Suspect means like, that's the guy, go get him, all right? So don't put.
No, Jank, you're not right. Suspect does not mean he is the guy, go get him. Suspect means he might be the guy. Do you not know how the judicial system works? And it definitely doesn't mean go get him. It means tell us to go get him. You think that saying someone is a suspect means vigilante justice should happen now. No. They're saying we want to know where he is. How is this complicated? I must be retarded. This is the only way.
Suspect out there because, as it turns out, he wasn't the suspect.
He was the suspect, though, Jank. Do I have to repeat what I just said? I'm not going to. You can rewind when you don't watch my video, Jank.
Suspect. And there's a lot of people with guns there. Some of them are cops, some of them are not cops, and they're going to get thoughts in their head. So I get why they put the picture out. I wish they'd have said a person of interest. I hope that people are sophisticated enough to understand that.
I think we're all sophisticated enough to understand that, Jank. I'm pretty sure I could pick a toddler off the street. They'll figure it out. Jeez.
At that point, somebody tells Mark, oh, I just saw the Dallas PD put your picture out and they're looking for you. And he's like, whoa, him and his brother. So then they come to the police and go, hey, guys, I think you're looking for me and here's my weapon. So Mark and his brother handled it 100% right.
Yep.
And the cops at that point handled it.
Mark and his brother did a fantastic job. I congratulate them for what they did. The police also did a fantastic job from beginning to end. They tried to find who was doing it. They guessed wrong because that's what a suspect is. A guess at who it is, not who it is. And then they quickly were able to resolve the situation. Am I wrong here? I don't think I am. All right.
Right.
I do want to give the cops a tremendous amount of credit because, considering all the stories that we've covered over the last few years of, excessive force and shooting first before asking any questions, it is miraculous that you come across a case like this where cops have been gunned down, people have already died, and they've reacted calmly to someone who approaches them with a weapon.
This really feels like a very subliminal fuck the cops. Even when the cops did nothing wrong. I'm genuinely surprised that she still found some way to really nail in that talking point that they always do.
I'm so happy about that, and I give them a tremendous amount of credit.
Yeah.
But the other part is that photo and that same tweet and remained on their Twitter account for the rest of the night, up through the morning.
Formal apology.
Yeah, I was still there. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning, couldn't sleep, stomach turning because of all this craziness that's gone over the past 3 days. And that tweet was still there. And it should have been.
Well, being a police department, I'm sure they have more important things to do, especially after a, a terrorist attack. It's
Immediately, I know.